So I read a lot of books every year, and sometimes some books come around that are very popular, that everyone's loving, and when I get around to reading it, it is a head scratcher on why they are popular. Just for some reason or another, I'm not enjoying that book. So today's video is where I'm going to be talking about some books that I think are a little overhyped or a little overrated. Hi everyone, I'm Rhonda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're brand new. I have about 10 books that I want to talk about that did not resonate with me like it did other people. These are books that are just, I think, are overhyped and overrated, and I want to talk to you about them. I have some romances, I have some fantasy, and I think I have one sci-fi / fantasy. And before I get into these books, my opinion of these books may be unpopular. You may be surprised with some of the books on this list, but reading is subjective. Books that you like may not be books that hit the same way with me. They may not resonate in the same way for whatever reason. And I'll get into those reasons while I go over these books, but just know that we can have a difference of opinions and everything is going to be all good. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to start with a couple of romances that I personally did not enjoy, and I'm not getting the hype on them, and I think they're overrated. The first book, I'm actually kind of scared to show you because I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about this, and that is Ready or Not by Cara Bestone. Oh, I didn't like this one at all. I think I gave this one 2 stars. This is a contemporary romance about a woman who has a one-night stand and she ends up pregnant, and the father, and she's going to keep the baby. The father of the baby is in the picture but not in the picture. I don't want to get into why because I don't want to surprise anything in the book. Also, her best friend is, she kind of has a strained relationship with her best friend now because her best friend is actually trying to have a baby and is struggling, and so she's kind of jealous of our female main character, and not really jealous, but it's just hard for her to be there for Eve. So Eve really relies on her best friend's brother, and his name is Shep, and Shep is a great guy. He is a stand-up guy. He always shows up for Eve. They have a great friendship, and as this pregnancy develops and she gets closer to her due date, they start having feelings for each other. So this is going to be best friend's older brother and a single mom or a pregnancy trope. I didn't mind the pregnancy trope. I actually can read them just fine. I think when done right, they are very good books. I loved Shep. He is a golden retriever type guy, a cinnamon bun. He is going to show up for Eve, and I love that about him. What I didn't love about this one is I really didn't love the writing. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I was not the right audience. I think this is going to be a case of maybe I'm too old for this book. And also too, even though I love Shep, I didn't love Shep with our female main character, Eve. I thought he could do better. I did not like Eve. I thought her personality was grating. Now, I know when we are in our 20s, we don't always have our lives together, and that's fine. I know I didn't, but she just seemed really immature, and I didn't like her. I could not get behind her, and I felt like Shep could do so much better than Eve. And then also too, when Shep, and I'm not ruining anything in this book by saying Shep and Eve do end up together because hello, it's a romance. I think you get the gist. I think you know what's going to happen. But obviously Shep and Eve do get together, and that scene was very awkward and weird to me. I felt like they were not organic as a couple, like they shouldn't have even been together. This book just did not hit for me. I think this is going to be a case of I'm too old. And I think you're going to hear that a lot when I talk about these books about me not being the right age demographic, because I feel like a lot of these books are definitely geared towards a different aged reader. So this is one that I just did not like, and I don't get the hype surrounding it, but it does have a beautiful cover. Very spring-like, beautiful, gorgeous. Love that for it. Anyway, moving on to the next book, and that is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is their newest release that came out last year, and I read The Unhoneymooners, and then I read Love in Other Words. I think I gave both of those 5 stars, and then this book came out. I immediately got it. You can tell it was my book of the month pick, and this was just bad, 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 bad. The writing was nothing like The Unhoneymooners or Love in Other Words. It was very different. It kind of read like a teenager who is texting someone and they're using fragmented sentences and LOL and all these acronyms. I'm just like, wait, is this a text stream or is this a book? It was just weird. I don't like the writing. So this book is about Anna and Liam, and they got married in college in order to get this affordable housing for married couples. However, they never got divorced like Anna thought they did. And one day Liam comes knocking on the door and says, hey, by the way, I am the heir to this supermarket chain, and in order to get my inheritance, I need to show that I've been married and I am in a loving marriage for the past 5 years. So will you come to me to this private island for a wedding of my sister and prove to my family that you love me and that we're married? And then he offers her money to do it, and she's like, yeah, sure, okay. So she goes to this private island for this 2-week wedding, and no. The only thing I really liked about this book was the setting. It's set on a tropical island, and I did love that, and it was giving me summer vibes, but everything else was bad. As I said, I did not love the writing. I also did not love any of the characters. Anna, just like in the other book, I did not like her personality. I found her irritating and annoying, and I did not like her at all. She read like she was very immature, and she kind of came across as a know-it-all. I just didn't like her. And also too, I don't think I liked anyone in this book. I definitely didn't enjoy Liam's family. They were terrible, but they were meant to be terrible. I just felt like they were rich, entitled people, and didn't like it. And then also too, there is something that really annoys me. I don't like it when people name body parts. I think that is icky and cringeworthy, and I don't like it. And Eve names Liam's his GD, and no. And she kept saying it. I was like, stop calling it that. That's not funny. And she just would not stop. And I really hated that. Also too, this was very insta-lusty, insta-lovey, and this just was not for me. I think this is another one that if you're younger, if you're in your 20s, you might enjoy this one. It's a book I have not heard anyone say anything bad about. It's one of their popular books, and I don't know why. I think I may have gotten a rough draft, to be honest with you. But this was really not for me either. Definitely overrated. All right, next up is the only, I guess it's kind of like a sci-fi fantasy, and that is The Ministry of Time by Kayleigh Bradley. This won a Goodreads award, and I'm still scratching my head as to why so many people voted for this terrible book. This is about a woman who gets a job with the Ministry of Defense, and they have figured out time travel. They have figured out a way to go back in time and pluck people from time who were already on the verge of dying. They were going to die anyway, and they bring them to modern times, and they study them and see how time travel affected them and how they are adapting to this new time period. And the people who are assigned to these time travelers, I can't remember what they're called, but they live with them and they monitor them and they just make sure they're going to be okay. Anyway, our main character is one of these people who is watching over a specific time traveler. I think he was part of some Arctic expedition, and the ship got stuck in ice or something, and he was on the verge of death anyway. So that's who she's watching. And so let's talk about all the reasons why I didn't like it. I don't like talking about bad writing, but I have to talk about bad writing here. This writer, I felt like she's a very intelligent person, but I think she was writing in a way where she wanted to seem more intelligent than what she is. She wrote in a lot of metaphors, which made zero sense, and I think she was just really trying to write over the heads of her readers. And you don't want to do that. I mean, I'm not a writer, but I would think that authors would not want to do that. They would want to write a smart yet engaging book. I think that's what she was trying to do, and it just really missed the mark. Also, too, I have read quite a few time travel books. It's one of my most favorite subgenres, and this book was pretty predictable. I think if you've read enough time travel books, you can probably figure out what the plot twist was. And I think I figured it out a quarter of the way through. This was just a messy book. I was bored through most of it. I think I started skimming. There's a romance in here. It was not good. The main male guy in this book who time traveled, a big chunk of this book is him just wandering around looking at modern things and being like, oh, wow. I didn't like this book. I did not like this book. Okay, the next set of books I want to talk about are part of a series, and I'm actually really afraid to talk about them because I know you guys are going to come after me. And the books I want to talk about is the Powerless series. I hate that this is in this video. I do not understand the hype surrounding this series. I bought Powerless and read this one last year because I heard everyone talking about it. Everyone was talking about how good it was, how flirtatious, the flirty banter between Peyton and Kai, how it was so amazing. And so I read it and I was like, it's okay. I gave it 3 stars. It's fine, but I didn't understand why people were losing their minds over it. But I did enjoy it enough to pick up, and I was curious enough about it to pick up the second book in the series called Reckless. I read that one right after it, and I had the same feelings. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It wasn't anything that was going to blow your mind. And then because I already invested 2 books into this trilogy, I went ahead and picked up Fearless. I haven't read this yet. I've heard mixed things on this one, so we'll see how I feel about it. But the series as a whole right now is that I think it's overrated. It is good. The writing is fine. It did not hit me the same way as some other readers. I did not think the banter between these two was that great. I kind of felt it was kind of gaggy because Kai kept calling Peyton this girl, like he would always say, this girl. And it was very just young, and it wasn't for me. This is definitely a series where I am too old for this, which is weird because yeah, it is a YA fantasy romance series, but I've read YA fantasy series before. Like I read Divergent and I read The Hunger Games, and I really enjoyed those series, so I know I have it in me to enjoy another YA fantasy romance series. This one just wasn't it for me. I just really didn't enjoy the romance in this like everyone did, and I think it's just a little bit overhyped. Now, you may notice I don't have Powerful in this set. I did read this, and I actually really love this book. I gave it 4 stars, so I'm not including it in this video, but these 2 books at least, they're okay. Not worth the hype. The last book I want to talk about is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is another YA fantasy romance series that just did not hit me the way I was expecting it to, or at least how it hit other readers. I didn't care about this book. I thought it was kind of boring. The writing was fine. The writing was beautiful. It was just the story was very slow. It was definitely more of a cozy fantasy romance, and I don't mesh well with cozy fantasy romances. This is about 2 people who work for a newspaper, and our female main character has a brother who has gone off to war, and she's writing him letters on a typewriter, thinking they're going to her brother, but they're not. They're actually going to a rival at this newspaper she works for. And really that's all you need to know. But with this one, it was definitely more of a me problem because I don't like more cozy, slower paced fantasies. I need action. I need things happening. And that really didn't happen in this book. I mean, it did a little bit at the end, but it wasn't for me. I needed more stuff happening. So that is why this one is on the list. I know a lot of people loved it. Now there is a second book. It is part of a duology, and obviously I did not read the second book because I didn't like this one. But yeah, this one, the only thing I can say about it is it was just boring. I needed more action scenes. I needed more things to happen to keep me engaged in the story. So I wanted to love it, but this one is another book that I think is a little overrated. I have 2 books left to talk about, and they are both adult fantasy romances. And the first one I want to talk about is Fantasma by Kaylee Smith. This one, I think everyone was reading last fall-ish, and I got it from Book of the Month too, and I wanted to give it a go. I do like darker fantasies. I like gothic fantasies. I don't have a problem with that. I don't like dark romances, but I decided to go ahead and give it a try. But this one is about Ophelia, and she comes from a family of necromancers, I think. And there's this competition called Fantasma that has come to her town. But her younger sister enters this competition, and Ophelia is scared for her because it is a very deadly competition. And so she ends up joining this competition as well, not only to compete, but to also find her sister and protect her. But while she's there, she ends up having a romance with our main male character. I can't remember his name right now. And he is part of this competition. And the romance in here was not good at all. I did not enjoy the romance, but I don't like dark romances. I actually found those romance scenes to be a little weird. They would just pop up in random places. Like I feel like she wrote so many chapters and the author's like, oh wait, I need a sex scene, so let me insert it here. And it wasn't organic to the story. So I didn't like the romance. Also too with this one, the I was more into the competition, the different trials that she was having to compete in, and those trials or those parts of the competition went by so quickly, like within like a couple of paragraphs it was over, and I wanted more of that. I wanted less romance and more competition. So that's why I didn't like it. I think the second book in the series came out a few months ago, and it's the story of her sister, and I'm not going to read it. I'm not interested in it. This was not for me. I think, again, I don't like dark romances, and I don't think this was that dark. I think there are darker, more forbidden type stories, but this one was just weird to me, and I didn't enjoy it, and I definitely don't understand the hype of this book, because I think this is definitely more of a 3-star book than a 5-star like some other readers have. I think some people even said this was their favorite book of the year. If you're one of those people, great. I'm happy for you. I don't get it. It didn't hit me the same way. So that's why this one is a little overrated. Okay, the last book I want to talk about today is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This cover may look a little different. This is the indie version of the book. If you bought this book on Amazon, you could pick between this cover and the cover with the guy on it. I really do not like the cover with the guy. I think he looks wimpy, so I went with this. I thought this was a little more fun with the butterflies. So that's why I went with this one, and I'm glad I did, because I think this book is going for like $80 on Mercari and on Pango. I'm not going to sell it for that much, but I was like, hey, I might be making money on this book if I sell it. Anyway, this book is about a woman who, she's kind of, I'm not sure how to explain this book. I'm not going to do it justice, but the gist of it is, this is about a woman who inadvertently opens a portal to another world. And the guy that she meets in the other world, he forms a deal with her. They kind of work to help each other. He needs help with something, and then if she helps him, then he will help her get to her own world. So that's basically what this book is about. Now, I was actually torn on putting this on the list just because I actually was really enjoying the majority of this book. It was more like it was actually kind of a 4-star read for me in the beginning, but I ended up settling on a 3-star and just really being disgusted with the book a little bit, just because I got to this last part of the book. And that is when there was a fire sale on all of the plot twists. I feel like we as readers were just hit with one plot twist after another, and usually that's okay. I do like that in books, but it was way too much. It was overkill, and when I finished the book, I actually did have to take some Advil so that I can go to bed, because I had a headache from just reading this book. And really, that is why this is on this list, is because of how much I hated the ending. It was to the point where I was rolling my eyes, and when the author, or when I would read that so-and-so is this and so-and-so is that, I was just like, oh, of course he is, or of course she is. Why not? Let's just throw that at us too. It was just overkill. It was too much, and that's why I ended up giving it 3 stars, and I was kind of like, why are people just loving this book? Yeah, it was great in the beginning, but then the ending was just terrible. It was actually, the ending was so bad that I really don't think that I'm going to read the second book when it comes out. That book is called Brimstone, and I think it comes out in the fall. Could be wrong. And this is just another one where I don't understand the ratings on this one. This is another one where people were just throwing 5 stars at it, I think saying it was the best fantasy romance they've read that year. And this is another one. If you're one of those, that's fantastic. But for me, yeah, I was really enjoying it, but that ending was just really bad. But, as a side note, something I did enjoy about this book is a character, I think his name was Carry On. If Callie Hart writes a book just about him, then yeah, I will read it, just because he was this morally gray character that I really loved his scenes, and I really liked him for some reason. But this book as a whole, I don't get the ratings on this one. It's more of like a 3-star read to me, so it's definitely overrated. All right, my friends, these are all the books that I think are a little overrated. Let me know if you've read any of these books, and if you agree or disagree, or if there are any books that I didn't mention that you think are also overrated. Let me know in the comments. But that's all I have. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.